How we doing? I don't hear you. How are we doing? Yeah. Feeling great? Feeling amazing? Feeling motivated? I don't believe you. Sounds like you had weak sauce for lunch. But we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that because I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do today that's going to revolutionize what you're doing in your life and in your business. Is that okay with you? Can we do that? Perfect. So by a show of hands, who here knows exactly how their business is positioned? You know exactly your positioning in the market. You know exactly what you provide. As an entrepreneur, are you positioned correctly? Raise your hand. I'm positioned correctly. Wow. Okay. Perfect. By a show of hands here, who is fired up every day to get to work on their business, not in their business? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Who's not going to raise their hand no matter what I say? There's always a couple. There's always a couple, but you still raised your hand. Outstanding. So my message for you today is that you never know what someone is carrying around with them. You never know what someone is struggling with, and you never know the impact that your message and what you're creating in the world will do for them. You never know what people are carrying around with them. A lot of times we plant our mailbox and we plant our address on the adversity that we're creating ourselves or the adversity that we're coming into and experiencing, and we say, this is not where I want to be, but I don't see any other way. So I just stay. And everybody does it. Sometimes we live in the reality of what others think about us instead of living in the reality of what we think about us. And it's powerful when you get to a point where you don't care what other people think about you. You don't care what other people think about your business. It's what you feel inside. It's what you think, feel, and believe about the world. I was speaking in Sacramento. Never been to Sacramento. It's an amazing place. I was in Sacramento speaking at an entrepreneur conference, and I met these 2 guys. And we got to talking, and he said, man, I really want to continue the conversation. We got to go to dinner. I'm like, this is awesome. Never been to Sacramento. Never been Ubered before, so we did that. I was like, that was pretty cool. That was an experience, right? I think there's a level of anticipation and anxiety that comes in, like you're going to get into somebody else's car, because our whole life we were always told never to talk to strangers, and you're getting into a stranger's car, but yet you're paying them to do that. I think it's mind-blowing. But anyway, so we go to this restaurant with the 2 guys, and of course, anybody who knows me, does anybody know besides Danielle and more? Do you know, has anybody ever heard of me before I got here today? Anybody? Humbling. Outstanding. I got some work to do. So here I am. I got my phone, and I'm like, yeah, we're at this restaurant. This is going to be amazing. And so I'm talking to the staff, and I'm like, do you enjoy working here? And I get the, yes, because his boss is standing right here, so I can tell that he's super not pleased to be here. I said, we're going to fix that today. So I'm pumping everybody up, and I'm like, I get my food. I'm like, this is going to be amazing. And I don't want to look, but off in the corner, there's like a Titanic reunion going on in the corner. Like, average age of the 6 people, 95. But I don't want to look because they're staring at me. So here we go. I know it's coming. I see the man get up, and he has a cane, and he's walking over, and he has black square glasses, a baseball cap, and he has his cane. And he stares at me all the way to my seat. And he comes up, and he's like, hey, are you the spokesman for this restaurant? And I look, and I was like, no, I'm actually an inspirational speaker. I just got done speaking at a conference, and I'm super pumped up. And he's like, oh, well, I'm not inspired, and walked away. I literally got bullied by a 95-year-old man. I know this because as he went over to his friends, he high-fived them and left. Just then, the manager comes over, comps our entire meal, and says, forget those guys. You inspired us. That moment was the realization that I have the ability to create an impact everywhere I go. The one person here today that needs to hear what I'm about to tell you can change their life in an instant. You never know what people are struggling with. You never know what people are carrying around with them. And you never know the message that you give them, will change their life. So let's get into it. You ready to get into it? Say, oh yeah? Yeah. We're getting better. We're getting better. So you're getting more pumped up. The first thing I want you to think of every time you wake up, the first question you have to ask yourself, the very first thing that you do when you wake up is not grab your phone, not look at who's next to you, but internalize this question. What am I willing to do more of than anybody else? As a spouse, as a daughter, son, cousin, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, whoever it is that you are to somebody in their family? What are you willing to do more of? In your business, what are you willing to do more of than anybody else? Because of the trust factor that people have, right? Like we buy things that we know, like, and trust, right? Everybody knows that. But what are you willing to do more of? Have you ever had a time where you go out to a restaurant, you go out to some place, you get plane tickets, a lot of people flew here today, or you're staying in the hotel. If they gave you an amazing customer experience, would you come back? That's because 20 to 70% of your customers and your clientele will leave in the first 100 days if you don't create a customer experience that they enjoy. 20 to 70% of your customers and clients will leave in the first 100 days if you don't create a custom experience that they want to share with their friends and family. If I'm not going to recommend your business or your company or your hotel or your plane or your whatever to my family, you're not getting my business. The people that I expose businesses to, a designer, podcast hosting, whatever, is because I love doing business with them. One of my core values is loyalty. I've been with T-Mobile for 10 years. If you know anything about T-Mobile, you have to be loyal. I don't even think I get service on this stage. But I'm loyal. So I stay with T-Mobile. Plus they give my wife free Netflix, and she's totally happy. But they created a customer experience. They give half off for military right now, free Netflix. I like their customer service. Plus, I've been with them for 10 years, so anytime I call, they're like, oh, Mr. Douglas. And they're like ready to jump at anything I need. So I create this loyalty brand, and when you create that loyalty with your customers and clients, they'll then share out whatever your message is. But you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to do more than anybody else? As a speaker, what am I willing to do more of than anybody else? And mine is audience engagement. Love audience engagement. Oh, I love audience engagement. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pick somebody. Oh, you're on your phone. Hey, what's your name? Kate. Kate? Hi, Kate. Nice to meet you. Everybody say hi, Kate. Hi, Kate. I want to ask you, what are you willing to do more of than anybody else today? What could you do? Sleep. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Sleep. What else?
Well, I need to rewrite a sales script tonight, watch a master class so I am prepared to sell for tomorrow.
So you got to rewrite a sales script. So I'm sure we've seen tons of sales scripts. You probably got them memorized in your head. What can you do more of than any other person inside of that sales script? Do you make it more emotional? Do you make it more appealing? What can you do?
Well, I'm just going to have it there so I've got the details prepared, but really I'll just be energetically tapped in.
There you go.
So it's really just a backup strategy.
Give a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Something that you can do more of than anybody else. Awesome. So I want to give her some love for participating. I want to give her some love. Hey, hold on. Here we go. We're going to clap once, snap once, and point at her so emotionally so she feels our energy. I love the face. And we're going to say, you rock. Ready? Clap once, snap once. On 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You rock. Look at the face. I love the face. That's why I do what I do. All right. The second thing we're going to do, the second question that you have to ask yourself, it is not negotiable. What am I willing to do differently? If everybody's doing the same exact thing, what am I willing to do differently? My radio show is called Life Transformation Radio. Danielle's been a guest on my show. It was an amazing show. A lot of great feedback from that show. A lot of great feedback. I believe there's some other people that were here. Mark's been on the show. That one got an amazing, there's actually iTunes comments that name Mark. Like, Mark was an amazing guest. And I think it was maybe Mark. But hey, it was amazing. Love it. But what are you willing to do differently? So my show is a live online radio show hosted by Blog Talk Radio. How I'm different is that I'm a live podcast. You can actually call in and talk to the guests that I bring on my show. I don't know how many other podcasts that you can do that on, but Blog Talk Radio allows you to have a phone number, and then you can call in and talk to the guests. I wanted to be different because I just didn't want to have another podcast on Libsyn or Podbean or Blueberry or Spreaker or SoundCloud or any of the other 11 different ones that are out there. Some of y'all get that on the way home. 11. So I didn't want to just have another podcast, but I wanted to be different in the sense that I want to go behind the scenes. Everybody sees, wow, they're so powerful on Facebook. Oh man, they're up on stage and they're so powerful. What you don't realize is that I'm a recovering alcoholic. And I tried to take my life in 2008. That's what you don't see when I'm on my radio show. That's what you don't see on the stage. We're so good at putting up this wall that nobody can penetrate, and we're so good at masking pain. Somebody in this room is in pain. You're struggling to get clients. You're struggling to position yourself. You're struggling to make ends meet in the business. So sometimes we have to get a side job. I'd love for my side hustle to be my regular job. That'd be amazing. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. So what do? We sit in the struggle and we just stay there. It's because what you don't see is the people who I know in this room who have struggled for years, and I know their story intimately. You see how successful they are. You see their group has thousands of people in it. So successful. But our idea of success is different than everyone else's. I could ask every one of you what the idea of success is. You give me a completely different opinion of what your success looks like. My success comes from not taking my life. My success is not picking up a drink, even though I really want to. My success comes from being on stages like this, where I get to share my story, motivate people, change lives, because in this arena right here, this is where transformation happens. It doesn't happen on Facebook, doesn't happen in an email list. It happens in person, sharing energy and sharing connections. Because the connections that you've made here today and yesterday are going to follow you more than a meme on Facebook telling you how awesome God is. Because God's awesome. But it's more awesome to be here in person, connecting with people in a way that you can't do anywhere else. The human connection and how you do things differently sets the tone. It sets the bar. So do you want to just hit the bar, or do you want to be the bar? So attaining for something else different than everybody else, your unique proposition, your unique selling point, your unique story is what sets you apart. So again, I ask you, what are you willing to do differently in your personal life to have a great relationship with whoever it is that you love? What are you willing to do differently inside of your business that's going to set yourself apart from everybody else? My wife and I, we struggled for years. For years. We struggled in the crazy cycle. The crazy cycle is where I don't feel respected, so I don't love her the way that she needs to, and she doesn't feel loved, so she doesn't respect me the way that I need to. And we keep going round and round about the same issues because I don't feel respected and she doesn't feel loved. And because we don't feel these things, we don't deliver these things. And so we stay. And all we do is we spin around and we spin around until enough was enough. And we started completing each other instead of competing against each other. I started giving her whatever she needed no matter what she did to me. And she gave me what I needed, even though it doesn't matter what I did to her. She gave me what I needed, I gave her what she needed. And I'll tell you, Our 4 kids, our last one just turned a year old, and I'm telling you, our relationship is as strong as it's ever been. We still argue. We still get on each other's nerves. I do things that aggressively annoy her because I love the look on her face when I do it. Why did we have wives if we can't annoy the crap out of them? You know what I mean? Like, play with our food and like, you're just as bad as the kids. And you're like, winning. Wives, raise your hand. You can't take your husband anywhere, can you? You see what I'm saying? Winning. That's our plan. We want to be different. We don't want to go grocery shopping with you, so we're annoying, so you get mad, and you're like, it worked. Free tip. Okay, so anyway, what are we willing to do differently? So my question to you is, how can you be different, and how can you position yourself as the subject matter expert in the category that you create? There's a business strategy called category design. Category design is simply creating a category that only you can play in, and then creating a problem inside of that category, and then coming up with a solution to solve the problem that you created inside of your category so that you can dominate the market that you created. Let me say that one more time. Category design is creating a problem that only you can solve, and then creating a solution for that unique problem that you solve inside of a market category that you created. Has anyone ever heard of a master resilience implementer? Anybody here? Yeah, that's my category. That's what I created. Master resilience implementer. I teach resilience skills to military personnel, and I teach them to entrepreneurs, and I teach them to struggling relationship folk. That's what I do. So I have these half-day workshops and full-day workshops that I do, and that's what I created, was that master resilience implementer. It's something different that nobody's ever heard of. Uber is the greatest category probably ever created. Nobody realized that it was really stupid for us to stand out on the street and go like this. Drove right past me. Netflix, greatest category ever created. Put business to shame. Blockbuster could have bought Netflix. They decided not to. That's not the future. Yep, they were wrong. Totally wrong. But that's what they created, was something different. They created their own category of on-demand streaming. Uber created on-demand pickup. So now we have Uber Eats. And people are playing on this on-demand things. I believe, as a podcaster, the industry is going to go to the Netflix of podcasting. It's going to happen, and you'll see it. The smart TVs that are coming out are going to have apps on them. And those apps, you'll be able to stream podcasts right to your TV. The cars already do. So I believe in the next year or two, you will see, not Netflix, but you'll see something, a network of some kind that you can subscribe to, where you can just hit the play button and it hits any podcast that you want. Alexa's already doing it. Google just created Google Podcasts. They're doing things differently that no one has ever done before. And they're sticking out, and they're unique, and people buy unique. So if this is true, you have to go home tonight, write down what your unique proposition is and what your uniqueness that you bring to the market is. Create a category that only you can play in, and then condition the market to receive your unique problem. Because the best thing to do is to market the problem and never the solution. If you come to me and say, hey, I got this great budgeting app, it's going to make your life so much simpler by budgeting, I'm like, well, I don't have a problem with budgeting. But if you came to me and said, hey, I have this amazing app, it has an accountability partner in there, it'll keep you on task, it'll keep you disciplined to make sure that you're staying on budget, I'm like, ooh, I need that. Because I have ADOS. I'm not sure if any of you heard of it. I got diagnosed with it about a year or two ago. It's called attention deficit squirrel. And what happens is, I see something and I want to buy it. I'm the reverse Oprah. I'm like, yes, I'll take that, and I'll take that, and I'll take that. I have programs that I've never even opened that are still in my email. I've been on webinars. I'm like, buy, 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 buy. I'm like, oh, another webinar. Buy, buy, buy. Oh, another one. I was that guy for like 2 years. I got things I haven't even opened yet. So again, I ask you, what are you willing to do differently that nobody else is doing? And then creating that problem, creating the solution, solving that problem, and then marketing that problem to everybody. The third thing, and most importantly, that you can ever ask yourself is this one question right here, and it's so simple. You have to ask this. How will I connect? How will I connect? Do I connect through email, Facebook, Snapagram, or InstaChat? Some of y'all get that on the way home. How will you connect? So, again, I ask you, what's your name?
Tracy.
Tracy? Everybody say hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Nice to meet you. You know what's coming. She's like, yes. How will you connect with those that you love the most? How do you connect right now? Text. Okay. How else? Phone. So phone, text, probably email, social media. Probably. That's how we connect, right? We connect with everybody through social media. But are we connecting on an emotional level? Do you have a family game night? Maybe you got kids that are older that are out of the house. Maybe you're having a Sunday dinner. My family growing up, I remember Sunday dinners. Everybody remember Sunday dinners? Oh, I miss those. My grandparents, some of them I've lost, and they were the big proponent of Sunday dinners. Love Sunday dinners. All the family gets together, and there's always like a Cousin Eddie that's in the mix. And if you don't think that there's a Cousin Eddie in your family, you're the Cousin Eddie. Just saying. So we connect through energy. Being in the same proximity as somebody is power. Being in the same room as somebody, you're sharing the energy. So how will you connect, Tracy, inside of your business? We do the same thing. We have social media, email. What other ways can we connect to our customers, our clients, or maybe through other people who are doing similar things in our business? How can we connect with them? Events like this, networking events, outstanding. So we'll give it some love. We're going to make it a little bit harder. What we're going to do is we're going to clap twice, snap twice, and point at her and say, you rock. On 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You rock. Love the face. So I'm going to play a game with you. I want to play a game. You guys like games? Yeah. Awesome. If you like games, say, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's what you're going to do. If you're by yourself, you're going to have to find a table. Just pre-warning you. Here's what we're going to do. Right now, everybody, you're going to take your finger, your left hand, and go like this. You are then going to take your right hand, and you're going to go like this. Now, you are then going to find a partner or somebody or wherever you're at, and you're going to take your finger and put it into the palm next to you. So you should look like this. You are going to take your finger and put it into the palm. It's so funny when people are like, oh, there's nobody there. So you will take it, and you will go into the palm. Got it? All right, here we go. On 3, you're going to try to grab that finger away before they pull it. Got it? You're trying to pull that finger away before they pull it away. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2. I didn't even get the 3. Somebody's winning. They were like, got it! Yes! All right, we're going to try one more time. We got to get to 3. Here we go. On 3, you're going to try to grab that finger before they pull it away. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. The joy on your faces is amazing. What does that have to do with my talk? Absolutely nothing. It was amazing to watch you do this exercise. You just see when I go to colleges and high schools, they're like, huh, got it, let's play again. What that means is when you put yourself into somebody else's palm, transformation happens and change happens. When you connected just now, you started to feel a little uplifted. You started to go, okay, I don't know what's going on, get a little anxiety, why are we doing this? And then as I told you what we were going to do, you're like, okay, starting to feel a little more relaxed. I'm going to get your finger. It's going to happen. Saw it happening. Like, it's almost like a competition. Like, it's going to happen. I'm going to grab it. But you're connecting in a way that once you leave this event, I guarantee you one person in this room will go, kids, come here. Hey, go like this and go like this. And I've seen it at dinners. We'll have a dinner like after this. We'll sit at dinners and be like, okay, guys, okay, we're going to do this. I want a rematch. Like, that's awesome. Or you use it at your event. We connect in different ways. I connected with you through a story that I told, which is a true story about Sacramento, but it connected with you because some of you might be from California, you've been to California, or it's just an emotional story about how an impact was created at a restaurant from somebody being mean. We connect through stories. So if your copy, if your emails, if your social media, if whatever your branding and message is not landing and you can't figure out why, it's because you're not connecting emotionally. Connecting. And everybody here knows exactly what I'm talking about. You connect emotionally through relationships. You connect emotionally through friends you haven't seen in a long time. We're about to get Christmas cards. It's going to be emotional because a lot of the families will start sending their little Christmas cards, and they're trying to get all these poses, and all the kids are like wrapped in lights, and you know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's what's going to happen. So we connect in multitude of ways. But if you're struggling right now, which I know probably some of you are, or you're not at the level that you want to get to, it's because you're not connecting. And you have to figure out what that missing link is. How will you connect? And write a strategy and a system in place to make that connection possible. Because there is no secret to success, only a system and a strategy. And that's what gets you to success, is a system and a strategy that is replicatable and duplicatable 100% of the time. So figure out how you're going to connect. I did the clap and snap thing, pointed at people. I got the audience to do it. We're connecting with like energy. So between my story, the audience engagement, that's what makes me different. That's what I do more of. And that is how I connect with my audiences. So now that you see the full picture, I want to leave you with this. So as I close, which really doesn't mean anything, but it gives you hope that I'm almost done, is that you never know who needs to hear your unique message. That's why podcasts are so popular, because we get the behind the scenes and what people are thinking. My show is about being a fly on the wall and listening to the gut-wrenching stories of Trish Roberts, who was a singer and a business coach. And she was one of the best on Broadway. And now she has MS. And for years, she wanted to end her life. But then she turned pain into purpose. And now she's a women's coach, life coach for those struggling with MS. She turned her pain into promise. Because she promises that you don't have to suffer and you don't have to struggle. That's what she promises people. People on the show like Christopher Duffley. Christopher Duffley is a 17-year-old blind and autistic boy. His podcast is called Mission Possible. He was on my show. He was on ABC's Young and Gifted. He weighed 1 pound, 8 ounces at birth. He was like 2 months premature. And because he was that premature, he became blind. And then he developed autism. He's a motivational speaker. And he speaks to the youth about look at my limitations, and nothing that you experience can be a limitation, because nothing that I've experienced is a limitation. That's his message. So I ask you, what is your message? What is it that you're going to connect with everybody that you want to serve? Your clients, customers, people around you, people in the hallway, people downstairs. How will you connect with them? Because if it's one thing I've learned, it's that you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what you're going to say or do to somebody that's going to change their life forever. You may not know it right away. You may not know it a year from now. But at one point, someone will come back to you and say, because of you, I did not give up. Because of you and your message and what you brought to the world, I was changed forever. So it is my hope that in everything that happened in the last 2 days, you take away what you've learned, apply it, and change lives. Thank you so much for having me.